unfortunately, the primary industry that we've been so dependent upon is not healthy. And it's not going to be healthy for some time. And that's the manufacturing and automotive industry. There was a time when the young people could leave high school and go and get a job in the factory, and they make more money than our professional educators. That day is gone, and I don't think it's coming back. As you look at what the unions did for our middle class in this country, the industry and the unions created a middle class. There's a lot of talk today that the unions are a negative impact on the industry, meaning the automotive industry, and maybe other industries also. I don't necessarily believe that, but it's got to be dealt with. As we talk about how we reinvent Detroit, I do believe, whether it's 3 automotive companies or 2, they still are going to dominate the landscape because they are that huge. But there are other things that we've got to do. We are already positioned as an entertainment capital here in the Midwest with the casinos that are already here. I mean, we've got within a 15 to 20-minute radius, including Canada, 4 casinos, for huge entertainment venues. Outside of, say, Atlantic City and Las Vegas, we're next. Now, how can we capitalize on that? I think the entertainment dollars that are available, this was Motown. When I first got here, I mean, that's what I knew about. It was Motown, and it was the car company of the world. So we had a lot of people with a lot of talent from an entertainment standpoint. And as Motown, moved out of the city, all of our talent didn't leave. I mean, there is a generation or 2 generations since Motown has left that's got an enormous amount of talent that we're not tapping into. So now with these venues that are here, if we can create not another Motown, but something similar to that, so that we can have a lot of local talent, and the venues that we have, I think, would be a plus. When you look at healthcare, we've got some very, very large healthcare institutions here. And that industry is growing at double digits on an annualized basis, has been doing that for the last 5 or 10 years, projected to do that for the next 5 or 10 years. So when you look at Henry Ford Health, when you look at Beaumont, when you look at St. John's as 3 in this area, they're all telling me that they're going to need, on average, of somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 employees per year, because we've got an aging population. And so you've got to have people with the necessary skill to service that population. So if you're talking about, on average, somewhere between 6,000 to 9,000 jobs a year, one of the things we've got to do with so many misplaced workers today is get them trained for that industry. We've got young people that I think can get educated, but there are also a lot of displaced people who are going to be unemployed that are intelligent people. And we've got to make sure that we give them an opportunity for another chance in life. And I think that's a good area to go into. Everybody talks about a green economy. I can't tell you that I'm an expert on that, but I do think there's going to be opportunity for growth in a green economy. The president has pushed that forward, and I do think that's going to catch on, but I don't have enough information and knowledge right now to say that that's an industry that's a growth industry for Detroit. I do think that with the stimulus package, a big concern of mine is that a lot of the business or dollars are dedicated and allocated to road building and bridge building. And when I look at those crews out on the road, I don't see too many people that look like me.
Hello.
And so I could get concerned about that. You're talking about $1 billion from the state of Michigan that's going to be allocated to road building and bridge building. I think what we've got to do, once again, is get at the table and start asking the questions, and if necessary, making demands that some of those jobs and some of that money ought to be allocated to folks here in Detroit. I think we can do that. When you look at the 60, I'm told, I don't know this to be factual, but I'm told we got over 60,000 vacant houses here in the city of Detroit. If that's the case, once again, part of the package is for housing. And some kind of way, we've got to stop and fight that people are not going to get kicked out of their homes. That's going to be a huge issue. We got 60,000 homes that are blighted and blighting our city right now. If we continue to see people get into foreclosures and get kicked out of their homes, that's going to go up real quick, real big, and we got to fight against that. Some of those homes that are blighted, my goal and my plan would be to look at the inventory that we've got in our system and see the ones that we can't save, because there are some homes that are in such disrepair. There's nothing that you can do with them other than tear them down. And my focus on those would be to first look at those homes around schools. And those are the first ones that I would try to tear down. Secondly, I look at those homes around senior citizen homes and try to tear those down. And then thirdly, around our churches. And I think if you understand the inventory in our system, you can start attacking that problem systematically. There are homes that we could save, and I would be much more inclined to take federal dollars, whether it's through grants or through the stimulus package, and see whether or not you can convince people to move from some of the homes that they're in that are in such disrepair they ought not be there in the first place, and look at some of these other homes that it may take $10,000 or $20,000 investment to get it up to a living condition. And I think we're much better off trying to make sure that we reinvest in some of the real estate that's already here, as opposed to thinking we can tear everything down.